In this video, I'm going to go over adding highlights and also show you a few more options that you have in the color window. So now instead of doing the cupcake, or the cookie, I'm gonna work on the teacup and the teapot. And I'm gonna add highlights to this because it's made out of a different material that would show light differently. So here we are in our brightness cube. And I just want to show you that if we went over to the hue cube, you would get something similar. Here we can see all of the colors on this sidebar. And over here we have brightness and value, or brightness and saturation, shown in the big rectangle. The vertical line that we're seeing is the value from light to dark, and the horizontal line is showing saturation from brightly saturated and vivid to grayish. So you could also find your lights and darks over there. You can also find them by the color wheel. Here we have another, it shows you options all around the hue wheel, and then you can also, and you see that reflected in the hue slider. And we also have saturation on this side of the triangle, and then we have highly saturated over here, and then it gets less saturated as you get to this end of the triangle. And then we also have brightness, the value coming out over here. I do prefer using the brightness cube because I think that it shows you the most options for light to dark. So when you're trying to find lights, it's probably easier to do it this way. But I just wanted you to know about these other options because they can be very helpful. Let's go back to the brightness cube. Now instead of going a shade darker, I'm going to go a shade lighter. And we again want to make another layer, so that way we can be painting on top. And I'm going to start with the body of the cup. So let's use the eyedropper tool. You can get that by hitting the letter I, and that will jump us back to our original blue. And if I want to get a lighter blue, I'm going to jump all the way up there. Now I'm going to find my paintbrush over here. Remember that by default it will probably be at 100% hardness. I think that it looks better when you make it softer because then it'll blend in better. So we can, right, this is where the shadow would be. So that's instinctively where I went, but I think that that's inaccurate. What we're trying to do is show where the light would hit, not where the darks would be. So if the shadow is on the left side, as we see with the cupcake and the cookie, that means that the lights would be hitting from the front towards the right. So really this is where the light would be hitting. I'm going to hit undo so that way I can do a nicer line, right? And I think that that is probably closer to what it would look like. I think that we could also, we can also use the eraser instead of undoing things. We would just need to find it. And then we can erase things that we don't like. I think that it should come to a better point. So you can either erase it or you can start again. The problem I'm having with the eraser is that it's not as fuzzy. You could make it fuzzier. Well, really you can make it harder. You can change the kind of brush, the kind of thing that it's using. See, now we have a softer edge. All of the settings are editable. But I'm just going to delete this and do it again. I'm going to hit brush. This is easier when you have a tablet, because then you can kind of draw like you would ordinarily. If you're doing it with your finger, it does get a little bit harder. And now I'm going to add, you know what I didn't do? I didn't make a selection. That's why I was able to paint in the yellow. So what we want to do to stop that from happening is hit Command or Control and then the thumbnail. And then we can get our selection to help make it keep us neater. There we go. Okay, and now we can add a little bit of light. Well, I just added an entire, I just changed the color of the thing entirely. I'm going to make that a lot smaller so that way I can draw a smaller line to give a glint. I don't want to fill in that entire space. I just want to give a glint. You can go back to a bigger size and click away. I want to get some light on the teapot. Then maybe like that. We can also get some light over here. Maybe over here. I also think that it'd be nice to give some brightness to the cheeks, like the little cute areas. I find that zooming in is very helpful when trying to draw details. Definitely recommend zooming in. Okay, and this is how you would be adding light areas to your work. It's the exact same thing as adding the shadows, except you're doing light colors instead of dark colors. I'm going to try it with purple. Go like that. Now I'm hitting the brush. It's not really doing anything because it's so tiny. You know what? I just, here's what's happening. I was drawing over here, but that's outside of the selection. So I need to hit Command or Control D to deselect and then select the purple part. And now I will be able to paint over here. Okay, so that's how you would be adding your light areas to your compositions. If you have any questions, please let me know.